Tonight to bring you the stories shaping Africa and beyond. Stability, opportunity, and accountability are all on the line, and the decisions made now will echo for years to come. This is the African News Update on Top Accolade News. The headlines: Eritrea pulls out of regional bloc. Central African Republic launches high-stakes presidential campaign. ECOWAS reject Guinea-Bissau junta's transitional plan. Dangote accuses Nigerian regulators of undermining local refining with fuel imports. Eritrea has formally withdrawn from the East African Regional Bloc (IGAD), accusing the organization of becoming a tool against countries like itself and failing to uphold its founding principles or contribute to regional stability, amid rising tensions with neighboring Ethiopia and long-standing dispute over Red Sea access and sovereignty. The Foreign Ministry said IGAD no longer provided strategic benefits, while the bloc criticized Eritrea for not engaging meaningfully in meetings or reform efforts since rejoining in 2023, a move that stokes fear of renewed conflict in the Horn of Africa. From one corner of the continent to another, the spotlight now turns to Central Africa. Election campaigning has officially opened in the Central African Republic ahead of December 28th presidential poll, with the incumbent launching his re-election bid at Bangai's Omnisport Stadium before thousands of supporters, presenting himself as a guarantor of peace and stability, while opposition leader Anicet Judges counters with a 25-pillar program focused on state rebuilding and economic revival, backed by the symbolic defection of former Minister Sheji Bukasa. The 2 weeks campaign is unfolding amid heightening political tension and UN warning of a security risk, even as candidates urge calm and peaceful participation in a country scarred by conflict. This election is less a contest of promises than a referendum on whether stability has truly taken roots. Meanwhile, West Africa is keeping an eye on Guinea-Bissau. West African bloc ECOWAS has rejected a transition program announced by Guinea-Bissau's military rulers following the November 26 coup that ousted President Umaru Sissoco Mbamo, demanding an immediate return to constitutional order, the release of all political detainees, and an inclusive short transition, while warning of targeted sanction against individuals obstructing the process. Speaking at the bloc summit in Abuja, ECOWAS Commission President Omar Toure said leaders had agreed on zero tolerance for unconstitutional change of government, noting that elections held on November 23rd were deemed free and transparent by regional and international observers, as the bloc mandated its chair to lead urgent talks with the junta. Nigeria's richest man is taking on regulators over fuel imports. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has escalated his dispute with Nigeria's petroleum regulators, accusing them of allowing cheap fuel imports that threaten jobs, investment, and energy security, as he defended his viability of a 650,000 barrel per day Lagos refinery, which was built to end Nigeria's dependence on imported fuel. Dangote called for an inquiry into midstream and downstream petroleum regulatory authority head Farouk Ahmed disputed claims that local output cannot meet demand of about 55 million liters a day, and said regulatory failures have blocked guaranteed crude supply to domestic refiners, forcing the plan to import around 100 million barrels of crude annually, even as he pledged to expand operations. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Kenya is preparing its largest state asset sale in nearly 20 years by offloading a $1.58 billion stakes in telecoms and fintech giant Safaricom to South Africa's Vodacom, cutting the government hold from 35% to 20% to seed a new national infrastructure fund aimed at financing energy, transport, irrigation, and airport upgrade, as authorities grapple with heavy debt servicing that consumes over 40% of revenues, stalled tax hike, and deadly protests last year and slowing growth struck near 5%. While Treasury Secretary John Mbadi said privatization is the only viable path to fund development and crowd in private capital. Critics warn that the move risks trading a reliable dividend engine for uncertain returns. A bold gamble that swaps today's steady cash for tomorrow's promised growth. Across the Atlantic, U.S. immigration policies hitting Ethiopia in unexpected ways. The United States has terminated temporary protected status for about 5,000 Ethiopian nationals, offering those affected to leave the country within 60 days or face arrest and deportation, despite ongoing violence in parts of Ethiopia and a U.S. State Department advisory urging Americans to reconsider travel due to conflict, crime, and kidnapping. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said conditions no longer pose a serious threat to returnees, as the move forms part of President Donald Trump's broader push to revoke legal protection for more than 1 million migrants from multiple countries, with the termination set to take effect in early February 2026 and accompanied by an offer of a government-paid flight and a $1,000 exit bonus for voluntary departures. On a more positive note, return to the continent's thriving cultural and sports scene, starting with Ghana's massive December festivities. The Ghana Tourism Authority is calling on patrons and event organizers to expand the focus of December in GH beyond concerts and parties, highlighting the season's potential for investment, enterprise, and economic growth. Communications Director Bright Kwesi Asempa stressed that diaspora visitors attend not only for entertainment but also for business opportunities, while the GTA announced a partnership with the State Transport Company to launch dedicated shuttle bus routes to ease travel for festival goers, and the Diaspora Affairs Office will host a summit from December 19 to 20 to showcase Ghana's cultural and economic prospects. And finally, in sports, First National Bank Namibia has reaffirmed its support for women's football with over $9 million Namibian dollars sponsorship over the next 3 years, with the FNB Women's Super League, a move celebrated as a milestone for the sports by the Namibian Football Association. The agreement underscores the bank's commitment to empowering women athletes, promoting community engagement, and fostering transparency and accountability among participating clubs, with NFA officials praising FNB's continued investment as vital to the growth and professionalism of women's football in Namibia. From diplomatic breakdown to financial gambles and sporting breakthroughs, the headline tonight shows that Africa's future will be defined by the difficult choices leaders make right now. I am Ojorumi Okocha, and this is the African News Update on Top Accolade News, keeping you connected to the pulse of the continent.